Bună ziua, bine ați venit. Well, today, a rather unusual subject, but one that's fairly important to me. Luton and Luton Airport. Why Luton and Luton Airport? Well, since the arrival of Wizz Air on the flight scene to Eastern Europe, Wizz Air has made Luton their base. So most of the flights I take, well, almost all of the flights I take back from the UK when I go to visit my mum are from Luton. It used to be the EasyJet centre. There was a famous TV show called Airport, which focused on Liverpool and Luton, and some episodes from Bristol. But Luton has taken over with Wizz Air. Thank goodness it's Luton and not Stansted, which is a long way away. I mean, when I go to Luton, it takes me 4 hours to get there from my mother's house. 3 hours on the train to London, and then another hour, more or less, from London, if you include everything. So, I've had some good experiences and some bad experiences at Luton, and I'm going to go through those with you. I've already filmed 2 videos of how to get to Luton Airport, so I'm not going to talk about that. But I've been held up at security twice. Once for Marmite. I'm a great lover of Marmite. If you don't know what Marmite is, then Google it. But I was refused acceptance of a jar of Marmite because it was a liquid. And I said to the guy, try pouring it. Try pouring that, mate. You'll see it's not a liquid. And he wasn't having any of it, so he confiscated my Marmite, which I was very upset about because you can't get Marmite in Romania. Apparently you can in some specialist boutiques in Bucharest, but not in Craiova. Secondly, I bought some hair tonic called Amalian, and these were tested, and I bought 8 packs, 100 grams each, so they would go in our carry-on bags, and one was found to be suspect. Well, I'm very dubious about that, and they cost about £40 odd, £45 each, so I was really annoyed about that. So I lost £45 because of an incompetent customs officer, but there we are. Coming into Luton, I've only ever missed one flight in my life, and that was at Luton, and I missed it by 5 minutes, but that was okay. It wasn't our fault. It was the train's fault. We'd had problems with storms and trees on the line and that sort of thing. The wrong type of rain, the wrong type of leaves, that sort of thing. So we missed a flight. So that cost us quite a lot of money because I had to book a hotel at short notice. Now, I foolishly booked the Holiday Inn Express, which was about £200. I think it was 198 or something. I should have put the Ibis Hotel, which would have been about £80. So hotels, airport hotels, are expensive at Luton. I'll talk about that now, actually. There are no more evening flights to Craiova. Why is that? Well, it's because Wizz Air don't have enough aircraft. There's a big shortage at the moment of aircrafts because Boeing have slowed down their production. Airbus are limiting theirs. So Wizz Air is very limited on the stock that they have. And that means that there are fewer flights. So whereas in the past there were 2 flights a day from Luton to Craiova to Luton, there is now 1, and the flight goes at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, my mother's house is 4 hours away from Luton Airport. There's no way I can get there because there aren't trains at that time of day. So what that means is that I have to spend the night at Luton Airport. So I go to the Ibis Hotel. If you're going to the Ibis Hotel, it's part of the Accor group, Novotel, Ibis, and I think a couple of others. Well, there's Ibis Budget, if you can find all of those. You're going to be paying about between £50 and £70 for an overnight stay. So it's not excessive, but it's annoying because it adds to the cost of your travel. When I missed my flight, I foolishly booked into the Holiday Inn Express, which it was okay. You get a free breakfast there, but you pay in terms of the room that you're booking. It is the nearest hotel to Luton Airport. It's about 400-500 meters walk. The Ibis is a bit further away, but it's not huge. Within the airport, there have been changes as well. They've been developing the airport and changing the franchisees. There's no more Frankie and Benny's. I used to like Frankie and Benny's because they had Romanian staff. I used to have a waitress there, from Craiova, who had been at Elena Cuza, and in the past I did some projects with Elena Cuza, which is a liceo in Craiova, well known for its foreign language teaching, modern languages, MFL. Frankie and Benny's has gone, so where I go now is a restaurant called The Big Smoke. I think it's called The Big Smoke, where the cheapest drink not the cheapest drink you can get. If you're drinking cider, it's cheaper, but the cheapest lager you can get is Stella, which is £7.15. So that's pretty expensive, but they're a captive audience. I mean, when you're on the departure side, airside, you have a captive audience, so expect to pay £7.15 for a pint of lager. But it's a nice place. They've got some nice staff there, but there are no Romanians working there anymore. Their jobs have been taken over. I was making a video before I checked in for a flight on the departure side, and a policeman came up to me and said, "Oh, there's no filming here." And I said, "Really?" Because I've seen loads of vlogs of people filming on both sides of airside and departure side. But excuse me, I'll just turn that off. There we go. I've seen loads of videos, and he said, "No, it's local bylaws. It's not the law. It's local bylaws." I'm thinking, well, so obviously he had an automatic rifle, so I wasn't going to argue with the policeman. So I turned my camera off. So be careful about that. No filming apparently at Luton Airport, although at almost every other airport I've seen filming going on. Check-in can be really annoying because you can only check in 2 hours before your flight. So if you get there 3 hours before your flight, you can't check in. You can't get rid of your suitcase. You're just going to have to wait. Security control. This can take a long time, so be careful. If, as I am, you're leaving early in the morning, I mean, my flight typically leaves at 8:15 in the morning, so I have to be there at 6:15 to get through. It can take up to half an hour to get through security control because it's not very well organised, to be honest, and not all the gates desks are open to get you through. So that can be a real pain. I've talked about the price of drinks, £7.15 for a pint of lager, and wine is pretty similar. Food is very expensive. I'm not going to complain about that because they've got a captive audience and they've got to make their money. The cheapest beer, and it's a small beer, 330 millilitres, that you will get at Otopen, Henry Coanda Airport, is 28 lei. So that's really expensive for Romania. Okay. Good news about Luton is I had a good experience. I used to drive there from when I lived in the UK. I used to drive there from where I lived, and I'd book long stay parking, and sometimes the motorways were working well, and I would get there ahead of time, so I couldn't actually get into the car park because it wasn't my designated time. So I'd go for a drink at a pub, and I went to this pub which is now sadly closed down near the airport, and I ordered a pint of lager or something, and the lady came back with it. I said, well, can I pay with a card? Because I haven't got any cash. And she said, oh no, our card machine's not working at the moment. But she said, but I've seen you before. You've been here before, haven't you? I said, yeah, I have, yeah. Can you just tell me where the nearest cash point is? I'll go and I'll drive away and get some cash. So don't worry about that. You've been here before. Pay on your next visit. Pay when you come back. So I can't believe it, because I got a free drink in a pub in Luton, and Luton is perhaps not the most pleasant of towns in the UK, but next time I came back to pay, the pub had closed down. Maybe that's why. Luton Airport is probably best known for Lorraine Chase, rather beautiful actress and model, who did a series of adverts for Campari and lemonade. And her partner would say, oh my dear, have you been wafted here through the air from paradise? And she said, no, Luton Airport. Lorraine Chase, a legend. Finally, I don't know if it's worth it really. They have a lounge, an air lounge at Luton Airport, which will cost you £38. You can go in there, it's more comfortable, you've got free drinks, free food. £38. I don't think it's really worth it, to be honest. But up to you to judge. So I recommend, if you're coming to Romania, you're probably going to be going through Luton Airport, because all of the Romanian flights leave early in the morning. So you're going to hear lots of Romanian as you come through the airport. It's not a bad airport. It's got some facilities. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.